Lily Harper had spent her entire life on this land. The dense forest, the rolling hills, and the winding trail that led to a jaw-dropping view of the valley below. To her, it wasn't just a path through the woods. It was her sanctuary, her legacy. So, when she spotted a group of suburban hikers in overpriced athleisure gear stomping up her private trail like they owned it, her blood boiled. From the shadows near the trailhead, arms crossed, she listened as a grating voice cut through the trees. "This place is a total hidden gem. That's why I decided to share it with the community," chirped a smug, self-important tone. Lily's eyes narrowed. Leading the pack, slightly out of breath from the gentle slope, was Susan Caldwell, the HOA president from the gated community that had sprouted up nearby. Susan was the kind of person who thought rules applied to everyone but her, that power was her birthright, and that any space she entered was hers to claim. She'd been a thorn in Lily's side since moving in a year ago, always scheming to expand her influence. Now, it seemed, she'd set her sights on Lily's trail. Taking a steadying breath, Lily stepped forward, cutting Susan off mid-sentence. "Excuse me, since when is my private trail a community playground?" Susan's smile flickered, but she quickly recovered with a saccharine grin. "Oh, Lily, we were just talking about you," she said, her face flushed from the hike and the embarrassment of being caught. "We figured you wouldn't mind sharing. You've had this trail to yourself forever. It's only fair the neighborhood gets to enjoy it." Lily blinked, then let out a sharp laugh. "Fair." She pointed to the bold, "private property" signs posted at the entrance. "What part of private is unclear?" Susan rolled her eyes, crossing her arms. "Oh, come on, Lily. Nobody really owns nature. This trail should be for everyone." Lily's voice was ice. "This is my land, Susan. I have a deed with my name on it. It's been in my family for generations." Susan waved her off. "I'm not talking about legal nonsense. I mean practical ownership. The trail's right next to our community. We see it, we use it, so it's basically ours now." Lily's fists clenched as she addressed the group of hikers, who sipped from fancy water bottles and nodded like Susan was their guru. "This is private property," she said, her tone unwavering. "If I catch anyone trespassing again, I'll press charges." The group shifted awkwardly, but Susan just laughed, brushing off the warning. "You're being so dramatic, gatekeeping a public space like this." Lily stepped closer, her voice low and dangerous. "Try me." Susan's confidence wavered, but she recovered with a smirk. "Well, if you're going to be difficult, we'll just discuss this at the next HOA meeting." Lily's eyes narrowed. "I'm not in your HOA." Susan's smile turned venomous. "Not yet." With that, she spun around, her wide frame jostling as she led her group away. Lily stood there, heart pounding with fury. Not yet. What was that supposed to mean? She had a sinking feeling Susan wasn't done, and she was right. The next morning, Lily woke up still fuming, but hoping Susan had backed off after yesterday's humiliation. She was dead wrong. When she reached the trailhead, she froze. A shiny new metal sign was bolted into the ground, complete with the HOA's logo. "Private trail. HOA members only. Violators will be fined." Lily's brain short-circuited. She ripped the sign out with such force the metal screeched, hurling it into the woods. Was this woman insane? Storming toward the gated community, she spotted Susan waddling her way, dressed in a pastel cardigan and already sweating from the short walk. Susan's grin was pure smugness. "Oh, Lily," she gasped theatrically. "I heard you were destroying community property. How disappointing." Lily laughed bitterly. "Community property? You mean the sign you illegally planted on my land?" Susan folded her arms. "It's not your land anymore, Lily. It's ours." Lily's fingers twitched. "Are you out of your mind?" Susan sighed, as if explaining to a child. "The HOA has decided to adopt the trail as a neighborhood amenity. It's a done deal." "Adopt?" Lily snapped. "This isn't a stray cat. You can't just claim my property." Susan's smirk grew. "Actually, we can. Historical use rights." She nodded like she'd just delivered a legal checkmate. "Residents have been using this trail for months, and since you never stopped us, it's officially an HOA asset now." Lily let out a slow breath, trying to process the absurdity. "Susan," she said, deadly calm, "if you say one more ridiculous thing, I might actually lose brain cells listening." Susan's smile vanished. "Excuse me. You have no rights here," Lily said, stepping forward. The HOA has zero authority outside its boundaries. That's how the world works. Susan huffed. We'll see about that. I've already drafted a motion to annex the trail. Lily laughed in her face. Annex? What is this, a medieval conquest? Just wait, Susan sneered. The board's fully behind me. Lily's patience snapped. If you step on my land again. Susan cut her off. I'm not stepping on it. I'm overseeing it. With that, she turned and waddled off, leaving Lily seething. This wasn't just a power trip, it was war. And Lily was ready to end it. Knowing Susan wouldn't stop, Lily acted fast. That afternoon, she drove to town and bought motion-activated security cameras, installing them along the trail, hidden in trees, disguised as birdhouses, positioned to catch every move. Then she waited. 2 nights later, her phone pinged with activity. In the grainy night vision, there was Susan, struggling over a fence, huffing like she'd run a mile. She carried bolt cutters and another HOA sign. Lily watched, furious but grimly satisfied, as Susan snipped down a private property sign, replaced it with her own, and then, unbelievably, spray painted over Lily's trail markers in HOA colors, trying to erase all evidence of Lily's ownership. Every second was recorded. By morning, Lily had ironclad proof: Susan trespassing, vandalizing, and defacing her property. She called the police, filing a simple trespassing complaint backed by crystal-clear footage. The officer she spoke to perked up at Susan's name. Apparently, she was notorious for nuisance calls about neighbors breaking non-existent HOA rules. He promised to handle it. But Susan wasn't done digging her own grave. That afternoon, as Lily waited for the cops, she saw Susan marching up the trail, phone to her ear, voice loud enough to wake the dead. Yes, hello, I need officers immediately. There's a violent trespasser destroying HOA property and threatening me. Lily smirked. This was about to be glorious. When the police arrived, Susan launched into full victim mode. Officers, thank God. This woman's harassing our community, tearing down official signs, and refusing to leave. Arrest her. The officer, one Lily had spoken to earlier, nodded patiently, letting Susan ramble. Then he turned to Lily. MS. Harper, you have something for us. Lily handed over her phone. As the footage played, Susan sneaking onto the land, cutting signs, painting over markers. Susan's smugness crumbled. Her face paled, her mouth flapping uselessly. The officer's expression stayed neutral. Ma'am, he said to Susan, you do realize you just called 911 on yourself? Susan blinked rapidly. What? No, she's breaking the rules. The officer sighed. MS. Harper owns this land. The HOA has no jurisdiction here. He pulled out a citation pad. You're being cited for criminal trespass, destruction of property, and filing a false police report. Susan let out a strangled gasp. You can't be serious. He handed her the ticket. Court date's at the bottom. Don't miss it. Lily crossed her arms, smiling as Susan's world unraveled. But this was just the beginning. Susan thought a fine was the worst of it, that she could still rule the HOA with an iron grip. She was wrong. 2 weeks later, a letter arrived that turned her smug confidence to ash. Lily had sued, not just Susan, but the entire HOA. The charges? Trespassing, vandalism, harassment, and fraudulent claims over private land. The real bombshell? Lily's lawyer uncovered that Susan had funded her fake signs and notices with HOA money, without approval. When the HOA board learned their president had been embezzling for a personal vendetta, they turned on her. At an emergency meeting, Susan, sweating through her blouse, tried to spin it. I acted for the neighborhood's benefit. Lily's lawsuit is nonsense. You used our money for your feud, one board member snapped. We could be liable for damages, another growled. Then came the knockout punch. A homeowner slammed a stack of papers on the table. I dug into Susan's past. She's been kicked out of 2 HOAs before for mismanagement and unauthorized spending. Gasps filled the room. Susan stammered. That's not true. But the vote was swift. Susan was ousted as president. With lawsuits piling up and legal fees draining her, Susan couldn't keep up. 2 months later, her house was foreclosed. At the auction, Lily watched as Susan's last shred of control slipped away. The buyer? Not Lily, but someone even worse for Susan. Mia, Lily's childhood friend, and a free-spirited artist who'd clashed with Susan's rules from day one. Mia turned Susan's old house into an Airbnb called the Susan Sanctuary, where rules don't exist. The listing was brutal, a cozy home in a peaceful community, now free from petty tyrants. Bonus: access to a private trail, generously claimed by a former HOA president who got what she deserved. A neon sign out front read, "Susan not welcome." Every time Susan drove by, forced to pass her old home, she saw hikers enjoying Lily's trail, guests lounging in her backyard, and that mocking sign glowing in the dusk. Her empire was gone, her reputation in tatters, all because she underestimated Lily. In the end, Lily didn't just save her trail. She obliterated the woman who tried to steal it. Some people think they can take what's not theirs, rewrite the rules, and walk away unscathed. But nature has a way of balancing the scales, and this time, so did Lily. What do you think? Was Mia's Airbnb stunt pure genius, or a step too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's debate. How far is too far when it comes to clapping back? Hit that like button if you're Team Lily, and subscribe for more stories where justice gets the last word.